team pick.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Game number 2 now upon us. Pries Gaming up 1-0 over the final tribe in this best-of-3 series. And an elimination match from Group A. The winner of this advances on to the playoffs. The winner of this will play Vega Squadron in their semifinal matchup. The loser is done here, finishing in Group A. So I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Hasbuzz once again. Game 2. Certainly cannot take away from Pries Gaming once again. They looked very good in that first game, and we'll see how they draft around this time. TFT though, bit of disappointment. Their decision making seemed a little off last game as far as the earlier game went though themselves. So we'll see how they fine tune that this time around. They are going to open up with the Sand King themselves. Nyx Assassin is the early response though for Pries.
Yeah, so it's as you say about the last game. It did feel like the final tribe. They just really felt pressured to achieve something, and grouping up for 5-man that early before your Lone Druid has any items wasn't the way forward. But they are taking a page. Well, I don't know if it's really out of Pries' book. This Sand King, he's been a very popular hero around lately, and it looks like his popularity is going to continue into this patch. Both teams picking up the insects. Nyx and Sand King, they look pretty similar, and they do slightly different things. So the Nyx, once he gets his level 6, will be able to give you really good vision, and if you're good with those impales, we'll be able to set up for a good fight. And here's a hero we saw a tiny bit of yesterday, the Grimstroke.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, he looked pretty decent yesterday, has some very strong spells, but I don't know if he's been buffed that much. So unless you have anything crazy to combo him with, I don't know why you want to take him this early.
Grimstroke's interesting to me in that the hero kind of died off for a while, and then suddenly there's been a resurgence of this hero, at least in a couple of regions that I've been covering. Within the last couple of weeks, it's just like all of a sudden, oh, you know what? Grimstroke's still good. They like the Soulbind synergy and having hero like Doom to go along with it, or whatever else, and just back on the menu. To point out, the patch didn't necessarily receive anything, but is still considered a solid hero by many. And Pries Gaming is one of those teams apparently, pairing up with the Nyx Assassin. So Inksville synergy with the Nyx, especially with the Vendetta, could be fun. And Nyx not necessarily bringing that single target for the Soulbind synergy himself, but I'm sure they'll address that as the draft goes on anyways. But Morphling for the final tribe. A very early Morphling pick for them. I want to get that out of the way, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing crazy that counters Morphling once you get rid of the OD as well as the AM out of the pool. So I think you can be fairly safe picking it this early. It's, people say, oh, ban the AA, but the AA Ice Blast, it's a bit difficult to land against Morphling. He's pretty evasive, and as the game gets later, if Morphling finds your AA, you're going to be dead in 1 second before you're able to cast any of your spells. So it's not really that good of a counter.
5th ban for Pries Gaming after their initial. IO was left open until the very final. I was sitting here like, oh man, are they not going to ban IO? Are we going to finally get to see IO? Yeah, sure enough, it was banned by Pries Gaming. In fact, Mars is also the 3rd ban. I think both teams were kind of tempting one another. It's like, all right, we got 4 bans. Neither Mars or IO are banned. What's going to happen? And then they banned Mars. So it would have been really interesting to see the final tribe not ban Mars or IO, because then that would have put a decision on Pries. Do they ban one of those heroes, or do they leave it open so that at least they get one of them? That's another strategy to think about that teams could, and that perhaps could be the way we see one, if not both of those heroes in the game, but still not going to see either one yet at this point.
Yeah, you're totally right. The side of the final tribe, they just kind of chickened out. Maybe they haven't been playing a lot of Mars probably in the previous patch, because if it's not in captain's mode, these pro players, they play heroes who they need to play. No matter how fun it is, for us to joke around and play with Mars, they want to be getting better at the heroes they're able to use in officials. So they might feel that they're just not ready quite to play the hero up to the standard they want to. And I mentioned this AA pick, and seeing the Nyx Assassin and the Grimstroke, I'm curious to see, is this I've seen offlane AAs, I've seen mid AAs, and it looks like they think it is the counter to the Morphling. But if Morphling's able to get off to a decent start, as the game gets later and later, AA, he's just such a squishy hero. Sand King's going to be able to get good initiations on him. Morphling will be able to wait for him on top of him. So you know, I am a bit worried about this Ancient Apparition unless they're able to protect him or maybe get off to a decent snowball themselves for the side of Pries.
Yeah, there was a game recently that I casted. I think it was the South American qualifiers for the minor that did involve an Ancient Apparition in the offlane, and it was picked up in response to a Morphling. So similar idea here that they have going. We know that is very good against Morphling. It did play very well. The new Chilling Touch and how it works, it seems like the hero actually even fits better now as a core with the damage that he can put out. So I really like the pick, and I expect it almost to be at least in the offlane, if not even mid. I mean, if the matchup works, then why not? It's a hero that certainly can scale decent now with a new Chilling Touch, and it would be fun to watch. But we'll see where it ends up. Rubik is going to be a response from the final tribe right now. You see what he has to steal this game, and it's not like, I don't know, the steals aren't overwhelmingly great for me this game, but still just a confident hero that Gurhan will end up playing. But ooh, Faceless Void. Okay, this is a classic combo. Faceless Void, Ancient Apparition coming out.
Yeah, and I have to say, these two together, you know, you're not set on having one answer for the Morphling. You have the Faceless Void as well. Also, the Grimstroke synergy between the Faceless Void is also really nice. I mean, any hero with a blink or some sort of mobility, you know, you ink swell, and then he's right on top of the enemy hero, so you're going to be able to get that lockdown of the ink swell later. So yeah, a classic combination that I'm pretty excited to see here. It's been a while since I've seen a Faceless Void. I think the last time I saw him, he was paired with the Magnus, but I'd love to see the Faceless Void. I'm not sure how much he got touched in this last patch, but Final Tribe, they take the instant response of the Beastmaster. They just want to secure the amount of lockdown they have for this Faceless Void. And I think with this Beastmaster, this means this is a 4-position Sand King and a 5 Rubik as well.
Yeah, that really, to me, makes the Rubik not nearly as good of a pick as well. I wasn't already too impressed with the spell steal capabilities this game, and now you have a 5-position Rubik that you want to play this hero for. You want the items, you want the Blink Dagger, even the Yags eventually, Aether Lens, etc. So Era's gonna have trouble getting those items. I feel like, yeah, not a big fan of that. But back to the Faceless Void Ancient Apparition combo, it is interesting that, of course, it still has the great Ice Blast synergy and still great synergy in general. Again, no longer the Chilling Touch synergy from before, though, where Ancient Apparition would buff everyone around it, specifically Faceless Void, and the damage that you could put as was insane in those Chronospheres. But still, great combo to have, and the single target from AA into the Chronospheres is actually potentially going to be pretty impressive itself. So I do like the Faceless Void pick with Zero. We don't see often, and they certainly have the synergy for it with just Ancient Apparition right now. And their final pick is still to come too, and I'm also going to be telling I would assume it is the offlane Ancient Apparition though, and going to final pick a mid hero themselves.
Yeah. One thing I do want to say is the Final Tribe. Last time we criticized their lineup for not having enough lockdown, and they sure as hell have rectified that problem with the Sand King Rubik as well as the Beastmaster. So you know, this time if they're able to find someone by themselves, they're going to have the lockdown. They're going to be able to get pickoffs. They're going to be able to, you know, do a bit more in the fights because you won't be able to rampage through them because you know you're not going to be held in place. So this Faceless Void, if he doesn't play safe on V-Tune, they will certainly be able to kill him. And, you know, maybe if the Morphling goes for something like an Ethereal Blade, you know, a Raw into Ethereal Blades, it's going to be a very quick death for this Faceless Void. So we'll see however they want to build the Morphling. It might change depending on what the last picks are.
If they could last pick a save hero here, that would be ideal, because really right now they don't have the greatest save for people that are caught in the Chronospheres. You know, a lift from Rubik could be nice. The Beast Smash having a pop Primal War is okay, but not a whole lot else that they can do. But for a mid hero, that's not a lot of options. So, okay, it's apparently not even going to be a mid hero. It's going to be a Naga Siren. So it'll be Frost on the Naga, and Chessie will end up playing the Morphling this time around, would be my guess. But I mean, Naga Siren potentially okay as a reaction until BKB, at least, from Faceless Void. That changes it all, but we'll see how that works.
I mean, it's as you say, it's pretty damn good counter initiation with the Song of the Siren. You know, they leap onto you, Chronosphere, as long as they don't catch the Naga, she'll be able to reset the fight for the rest of your team. You know, Beastmaster, he stands next to Faceless Void, sets up for that roar afterwards, and Naga Siren will probably go for that Manta style diffuser Blade build as well, drain all of Faceless Void's mana. But the side of Final Tribe, this is certainly a very greedy lineup. You know, you have an Argus Siren, you have a Morphling. So I think the side of Pries, they realize they just want to turn up the tempo. So for doing that, I like the Leshrac here. You know, a solid stun, able to pump damage into that Chronosphere, as well as has AoE to be able to deal with the Naga Siren illusions. And it offers the side of Pries a bit of push, which is what they were really lacking. So I think that's actually a really nice pick to round up their lineup here with the Leshrac.
Yeah, I was sitting here thinking what kind of an AoE clear hero would be great to finish it off. Also can pump damage into a Chronosphere. I was leaning towards maybe like a Quap even, but then they have lockdown on TFT, so Quap's not the greatest. Yeah, Leshrac feels much better. Sure, he can be locked down, but he's not nearly as susceptible as a Queen of Pain would be. And the way you build Leshrac too can definitely build much more tankier. So I do like the audible call from TFT. We'll give them that in that they had the Morphlay, but then the Ancient Apparition came out. So they didn't want to go all in on this position 1 Morphling. Instead, put in position 2, get another core that can farm very well and take over the game for Frost to play. That isn't necessarily as countered by this lineup. So I think they accomplished that. Yes, the Leshrac hurts, but still, Naga Siren, if she gets the farm and this game goes late, I would still expect that she's going to be the victor in the end. So setting up to be a much better game for the side, at least of TFT. But with the way things played in game 1, I do feel like Priest would still have to be the favorite because they looked clean, and they have a lineup that certainly can provide a victory here.
Yeah, I can see ways forward for both sides to be able to win here. But I feel, you know, a lot has to be on the back of this Leshrac over here, because, you know, he is going to have to be the ones on Undershock. It's very easy on a Storm Spirit to be able to make great rotations because you have that wonderful mobility tool of the Ball Lightning. But Undershock, you know, he's going to have to, after he gets maybe a Yule Scepter or one sort of item, make these rotations around the lanes. And if they don't pay off, you know, they will start to fall off, you know, because you're making these rotations, you're not busy farming the jungle, and you won't be getting kills. And for the side of Pries, it does feel like, you know, if the game goes late game, the side of TFT have it. So I think Undershock, he's going to look to get involved very early in this game. And if he is able to make those successful rotations, then I think the side of Pries will be able to take it home with a 2-0.
So we are on the pause here to kick things off. Oh, okay. Apparently we're good to go. What was I going to say, though? Oh, yeah. I did get notification. It sounds like that. So after this, of course, the semifinals will begin. And it sounds like that the plan is to then go into the winner of this versus Vega Squadron. So the winner of this will then advance on to right away to their best-of-3 semifinal match against Vega Squadron. There is the other decider match also happening right now from Group B. That's Singularity versus Uvageni Hope, as they're known by, formerly known as Black Hornets Gaming. Their best-of-3 is currently happening, and we'll keep you guys updated there. The winner of that, though, will play later today, our final series, and they're going to be playing against Windstrike in a best-of-3 playoff match. And then ultimately the winner of the semifinals, of course, meeting up in the grand finals, which then itself will be tomorrow, and that'll be a best-out-of-5. So that's the Chi League Invitational. Bit of a synopsis there as far as what's going on. Okay, the laning phase upon us.
Yeah, it looks like the lanes are going to be what we predicted. We did say this is going to be the off-lane AA as the counter to the Morphling. I'm a bit curious about how he lanes versus the Naga Siren. Obviously, is able to pump out a lot of that magic damage with the Chilling Touch. But as a squishy hero, you know, if Frost is able to get the illusions on top of him once he has some points of the Riptide, it might be a bit tough for Sudoi.
Bounty Rune picked up by Grimstroke, as Faceless Void does a good job of zoning out Hanskin. And even Storkfay coming through, but Zippy's like, nope, not going to let you kill my boar. He's going to take it out instead himself. And, well, now they'll commence the laning phase to follow. So, all right, so Morphling versus Leshrac in the middle. Wow, Morphling. See, I don't know if this is on purpose, but I mean, the tower is already going to be somewhat pressured as, well, I guess it's not going to take pressure. But the point is it goes all the way to the tower. And so Undershock either missed his block or perhaps that was the intention, as now he gets it back on his side. And the lane equilibrium's all over the place now.
Yeah, I mean, Chessie, he's not too sad about that. You know, we talked about in the other game how Morphling is more than happy to farm under tower. just with that right-click advantage. Obviously, Undershock is able to secure CS with the help of the Split Earth and the Lightning Storm, so it's not too bad a matchup versus the Morphling. And if he does get lucky with a Split Earth or Chessie doesn't play it correctly, there is kill potential, I think, for the Lestrak in this mid lane.
That's it always so far. Level 1 Chilling Touch, you see. Anytime Naga Siren comes up for a last hit, it seems like he's going to be willing to throw that out. Now, level 1, it's a 15-second cooldown, but if he levels it up, and I assume he will, it's all the way down to a 3-second cooldown at level 4. So it certainly scales pretty well. It goes back to the point that I was making during the draft. This new Chilling Touch, it does feel very good as a core. Bottom lane, Zibbe, he's in trouble. V-Tune's running after him, especially with the Bash proc. This should be a kill. And they're just going to trap him in. Grimstork body block. He can't go that direction, and V-Tune gets credit for the last hit. Great placement there from Green. He's going to take some damage from both the boards and Sand King, though, and he might go down. You see Faceless Void killing the boars, but it is not enough in the long run, and Hanskin makes the kill happen. So at least he gets some immediate revenge for his fallen teammate.
Yeah, however, the Grimstork, I'm pretty sure I heard him pop a salve before he died. Oh. So it's a little bit sad for him there. He thought he was getting away from Hanskin, but yeah, you know, you happily trade your life for a first blood for your core. And because he did get that first blood, you know, he's just acting as the courier, bringing out all these nice items for V-Tune, as well as some dust, so Hanskin isn't going to be able to sit in this sandstorm any longer.
Top lane, pressure on an Era from Yoku. We do get some insight into Faceless Void and what he may be planning to build this game, as we'll see if he commits to it, but Battle Fury is going to be his first bigger item at this rate, and looking at what they're dealing with, I can see Battle Fury, you know, it does give them that fighting chance of, okay, if this game goes a little bit longer on, maybe they could still contest, but it's that instead of, you know, the Mask of Madness, the drums, it's much more early aggressive Faceless Void, which you can certainly look to build as well.
Yeah, Hanskin, I think he's in real trouble now. Oh, very nice timing with that Virus Strike, actually.
Won't matter, though. He's going to be chased down. The Bash proc not happening, however, and that's the difference of survival. So Hanskin does get away. Yeah, the timing of the Bro Strike, indeed, well played. But, yeah, so, again, the Battle Fury, is that the option you like to see this game? They are up against the Naga Siren, after all.
Yeah, so you know, it falls into two camps. You know, you see two kind of teams. There are ones who are very confident in we can hit our very strong mid-game timing and we'll be able to win that game by hitting our timings. And then there are ones that are, you know what, let's hedge our bets. Let's have the ability to go late game as well and take those fights. And it looks like that's what the side of Kurazin Hanskin. Oh, again with that Burrow Strike.
Well, that was interesting, because V-Tune actually went forward, though, with the Inkswell. He went on a Beastmaster, so I don't know if he stood there, then it might have actually hit Sand King, or maybe the Burrow Strike timing was good again, but that seemed a little odd to me that V-Tune actually time walked in as he did. I guess he thought he was going to hit the Sand King, and the Sand King just happened to Burrow Strike as well.
I actually think it was a bit of a mental battle because, you know, usually when you're pressured, you look to retreat towards your tower. So I think he thought he was going to Burrow Strike out up, and V-Tune was, you know, out thinking it. So he time walked up as well, thinking he'd out-time the Burrow Strike, as well as stun Zibbe at the same time. But you know, just amusing plays here on the bottom lane, and you were talking about the Battle Fury here for V-Tune, and I have to say I knew he was going to build it all along because I saw what he's holding in his hand.
Top lane, Naga Siren taking out the camp nearby with the assistance of Era on Rubik. Nyx Assassin's coming over as the 5-minute bounty runes are about to spawn, though, so Nyx Assassin would love to pick this up. He does have Spike Care, but he's going to be lifted, but he gets back in and manages to take the bounty rune for himself. And now they're going to get the setup on Era. That Chilling Touch hit, the Cold Feet, it is going to proc. That's probably going to be the end of Era as a result. It indeed will be. So Ancient Apparition, credit for the kill. As Cold Feet has Ice Vortex level 1 as well, but he is leveling up the Chilling Touch. And he's going to go back and pick up their own Bandit Rune, so it will make it a 3-for-1, favoring Priest Gaming. So good early start for the Radiant side.
Yeah, we're really starting to see the power of this AA in lane. His skills, they just combo together so nicely. And, you know, having that stun there for the Nyx Assassin just allows these Cold Feet to eventually be able to latch. And this lane, it does feel like it's going to get harder for Frost from here. But obviously, Naga Siren is able to retreat safely to the jungle if she does feel like she's no longer able to stick around in this lane.
Tips coming out on a Rubik. Kind of add insult to injury from earlier on at least. Or maybe that was more of it. He saw him coming over because that was Undershock that tipped Rubik as he's rotating towards the mid lane. There is a regen rune that going to be picked up by Morphlin though. Chesty's heading over. Nyx Assassin nearby. He waveforms out though before he gets any damage taken to take it off immediately. Era caught by the Split Earth with the Impale starting to lead the counter Impale Storm from Chesty. He morphs into Leshrac and might be the difference maker. No, up tilt gets the kill, but Undershock falls. And now Chesty, he might get the second one as well into Yoku. Turns around the Impale. Nope, he lands it though after the waveform. You see him going back into the Leshrac form. However, no mana left currently on Morphling. And Nyx Assassin able to make it out, but well played by Chesty. They do get the better of that trade.
Yeah, it's, in case you want to know, I saw why he tipped him. Over here where this ward is, the Leshrac was trying to deward, but Rubik was able to get the deny on his own ward, and Undershock obviously suitably impressed that he denied his own ward. But a nice engagement here in the mid lane. Chesty coming out the big winner from that. They just dive way too far for this Rubik, and they get punished by the Morphling.
Grimstroke goes down, Hanskin. He is getting low, but once again, not low enough. He'll survive. So good fight there from TFT. As Beastmaster and Sand King coming together. Not much more Phases 4 can do. He is almost level 6, however, so Chronosphere just about online. You do have Rubik rotating to the bottom lane, and it's going to make its way into the jungle. He puts a ward down, pings by, what was that, Nyx Assassin? He pretty much pinged exactly where the ward went down, though. That was, I'm sure, just pure coincidence, but that was almost a little spooky. As far as how accurate that was.
I mean, they saw the Rubik coming out of the jungle over here, thanks to this ward, or they saw him entering. So they know exactly, you know, these are common ward spots. They know exactly what's up for the side of Pries. So, you know, just realizing, why was the Rubik in our jungle? He clearly wasn't going to get a solo kill. He must have been warding, and they get the instant deward. But now they have Chronosphere in the bottom lane. I'm curious to see if they're able to get a kill with it. But Zibe as well, he has his Roar, so kill potential on both these heroes. They need to be very careful how they play this, because if either one overextends, I think they could go down.
Assassin dust up, but Bro Strike timing from Hanskin is just a little too quick. He stuns away. He's going to be fine. Faceless Void again with the Chronosphere. They're looking for that opportunity, unable to find it there. Beastmaster, though, he's also level 6, and that means he's got Primal Roar. So speaking of ready to fight, they certainly are on the Dire team too, and rotation to the mid lane. But with the wards at that bottom side, Undershock had the information. He is playing defensive. He's stuck in the tower. At least was at that point. So sees him now rotating back towards the bottom lane. Has more freedom to push back up against Chesty. How is the mid going? It's 53-7 Leshrac versus a 51-6 Morphling. Ice Blast is coming out. Chesty, he's going to hit by, he did not expect that. Uh-oh, he would morph into the Leshrac. They went for the turn, but now Chesty. Yeah, that was a close call. He is going to be fine, but nearly dying going for the turn play.
Yeah, I think he was very lucky that he was in the Leshrac form when he got hit, because if he had had to take all that damage in his regular form, he probably would have gone down. But, you know, Undershock not...
Sorry, there was initiation down here. The Chronosphere was used, but he unfortunately also caught his Grimstroke in it, so they had no Inkswell synergy, and Beastmaster just walked away after the Chronosphere. I don't even think he got a time lock proc in there either, so really unlucky for V-Tune. And now he needs to retrieve, especially not having a Chronosphere. He does not have that threat anymore. So TFD feeling a bit more comfortable. As I said, the Ice Blast flies, and a Morphling goes down. He was rotating over. Leshrac happened to be here as well. Everyone all of a sudden showing up out to the Naga Siren. Beastmaster is going to get turned on top of that. So no Chronosphere apparently doesn't matter. It's not a Priest.
Yeah, just really nice work. You know, they were over here. They saw the Morphling. He was being aggressive farming here. And just a bit way too aggressive for the Morphling. They have this very nice vision down already, and they have a sentry. So they're now finally getting this ward with the ball. But I guess they were hoping to get a kill over here on the bottom lane. That's why Chesty came in. But with Primal Roar on cooldown, I think it was perhaps a bit too optimistic, and it really does cost the side of the final tribe.
Edict ticking down this mid tower. Ice Blast is flying through once again. Chesty hit by the debuff. The tower falls. He tried to deny it. Did more fling. Unfortunately, under shock just a little too quick. And the more efficient attack and get that kill. And speaking of Leshrac, he's working on the Eels. It's coming along very nicely. Leshrac and farming very well. But speaking of farming very well, Nagasarin, this is more like it. Frost last game, they were trying to evolve this lone druid. It just didn't make sense. Frost has been AFK this game. He's just been farming neutrals, doing the jungle thing, doing the lane. And you know what? It's showing. He's by far top farmer in the game. He is going to go the Yasha soon into a Manta.
Yeah, in this bottom lane, there's a bit of initiation. I think they are going to easily, obviously, lose that Beastmaster. Era, is he able to get away?
A stolen soulbind from Era trying to assist, but it's not going to be nearly enough. He just is too slow himself to get away.
Yeah, it's a synergy I didn't really think about, but it's kind of like the Rubik with the Grimstroke, is this Lightning Storm. You know, it's going to start on each one of them and bounce the other, so you get the double Lightning Storm damage, which is a fair amount once he has it up to level 4. That's going to be 400 burst damage, which isn't bad for one spell with the help of the Grimstroke. And, you know, now we can just go back to talk about Frost. Even though they did lose the Rubik here in this top lane, Frost, he never went down. He was able to successfully get his levels and just retreated away from the lane as soon as he thought they were able to kill him. And has been having a wonderful time in this jungle, as you say. Already has his Yasha, is going to have the full Manta style. And before long, this Naga Siren is going to be a real issue. I think they have to, at some point, look to pressure Frost. They might try and take all the tier 1 towers, then get Vision in the jungle. That might be their idea first. And an instant D-ward from Era, though. That's going to make it harder to find Frost.
Top lane Hanskin attempting to get away. They dusted him out, though, and they do find the kill eventually. And that's one of the reasons why Nyx's is also really good against Sand King. So he pops Spiked Carapace even in the Sandstorm, so it stunned him, and they got the kill shortly after. So good find there. They are also going to try to pressure the top tower. Now, this is the, I don't want to say problem with the Battle Fury build by Faceless Boy, but one of the results of going the Battle Fury is he's not as likely to willing to fight earlier on. Now, they've already fought a bit as I say that, but he does want to sit back now and try to farm that Battle Fury and at least get that, and then ideally the next tool before, okay, you know, now I can assist once again and looking for some Chronosphere kills. So we'll see if that timing throws off pre-scamming a little bit. That would be my one concern going back to his choice to get the Battle Fury in the game. But, oh, Nyx assassin. He gets caught in his own jungle. From a roar fine from Zebe. And Chessie nearby to help finish the job on him.
Yeah, one thing I do have to say about why I think the Battle Fury is good is because lots of games, you know, where you see pub players play a Faceless Void, they feel like they're the ones who need to be doing the damage. They want to be achieving solo kills inside the Chronosphere. But, you know, sometimes it's correct that, you know, you're just the setup for the rest of your team. And most certainly with a Leshrac and an AA, you know, they're going to be able to kill off whoever you catch in the Chronosphere. So you can go for this bit more of a greedy build if you trust your team, you know, that you don't need to be the one doing the early damage because your team is going to be doing it for you.
Top lane. Are they going for this? Chrono is ready. He has a demon edge on him, does Faceless Void, so it certainly is assisting his right-click quite a bit. That Chrono is not coming out. He used the time dilation and thanking stun away initially, but with the Inkswell, that's all they really need. A splitter thrown there as well, and V-Tune credit for the kill, so still have that big cooldown of the Chronosphere. Good holds. Not forcing it out. Yul's also delivered during that chase as well to Leshrac, so he's got that nice tool. But Morphling, can't forget about him either. He's been slowly pushing in the bottom lane. As I say this, he is starting to retreat now because there is a response coming, and he's going to waveform out. Good TP with the distraction. So the rotation does not necessarily work out. Ancient Apparition, yeah, with that Rod of Atos. They're trying to find somebody, but they cannot. They find bounty runes.
Yeah, so this is the usual item I see on the offlane AAs. They go for the Rod of Atos. Obviously, amazing synergy between their Cold Feet. How much is it altogether? So it's 2 seconds and then once it procs. So it's a full 4 duration stun with only the level 1 in the Cold Feet. So it's pretty nice to hold people in position. But eventually, Naga Siren, she's going to have her Manta style. And I thought the Morphling would be going for one, but he's actually going for an Eye of Scuddy first here on Chessie.
Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to think, is that... Oh, the Grimstroke's dying somewhere. There you go. He dies in the jungle. Looks like I saw the life bar going down all of a sudden. Looks like he got caught by Beastmaster. But Sand King is also now in trouble. Ice Blast flying through. Lashrock taken down with the Pulse Nova and the Spiked Gearface. There to certainly finish the job. So yeah, I was trying to like analyze what you were just saying right there. In terms of the Morphling, it's like, I kind of see why he wants to guys Scotty, because if he happens to get caught in the Chronosphere, being as tanky as possible is nice. But yeah, not having a Manta style against several roots potentially and several things that it can remove as a debuff feels a little risky. I don't know. I guess the Rod of Atos is really the biggest thing that could be the concern for Morphling though. So overall, I do think the Eye of Scotty is a fine build for Morphling.
Yeah, it's exactly as you say. It allows him to tank up because I think he just assumes that, you know, he'll either get caught in a Chronosphere, he'll get caught in a Yule Stun. He doesn't think he's going to be able to save himself with that Manta style. So he just wants to tank up to hopefully live through the initial initiation and then be able to use his Attribute Sift to, if he isn't affected by A Blast, to save his life. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him go for a BKB afterwards next as well, because, you know, he doesn't need to be the damage dealer carrying his team, because Frost will be able to help him out with that. You know, they have nice synergy between these two heroes, you know, both Frost as well as, actually, they did kill Chessie, or what's her name, but they're both having fairly good times, so they know they should be able to carry this game. And Undershock, I actually really like the Boots of Travel build that he's gone for here, because we talked about how we felt Undershock needed to get involved, and this is just going to allow him to have this constant map pressure.
Next Assassin catches up to Beastmaster. The Chronosphere set up now. Gets both. They want Beastmaster especially, however. Split Earth on top, and it is more than enough damage to finish off Zibbe. Ice Blast was a little bit late. That's flat. Hey, gets the creep. There you go. Got some gold for it. But that's, again, the idea of the Ice Blast synergy with those Chronospheres, something to look out for. As Grimstroke middle lane, these illusions are nearly killing him, but Scream will manage to get away. A close call for him there. One last thing on the Morphling. Yeah, to your point about it, he doesn't need to be the damage dealer. That's actually really interesting, and we even saw him morph into Leshrac earlier. Something tells me, not that it's rare, he's probably going to get the 20-second morph duration talent as well, level 15. Honestly, that's probably going to be his focus in these fights. Just morph into Leshrac and use Leshrac's abilities against the Radiant team. So that goes back to the idea of just bulking up as much as possible. I really do like it. That will be his role, not necessarily to be these right clicks or even a shotgun build that we see on most of these Morphling games.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly as you say. It's, you know, there's some very nice spells to be able to take over once you turn yourself into the Leshrac, use his entire mana pool, and then you're free to use your own. So, yeah, exactly. When you have such good scaling dual core lineups, you know, if one of you's having a rough time, or, you know, you divide duties in, you know, I'm going to run into the front lines and make an absolute nuisance while you kill everyone. It's a nice division of labor between the side of the final tribe, and it certainly does feel like they are going to reach that very scary endgame. You know, we are looking at I'm looking at the kill squad. You can see they are 11 to 5 for the side of Pries, but they're not ahead in net worth at all, and that's just because of the farm that Frost and Chessie have been able to get on themselves.
Second Ultimate Ore purchased by Morphling, so that I've Scotty. Very real in the near future. Battle Fury has been finished on Faceless Void, though, and so, again, it hasn't been as high tempo, maybe for Priest Gaming, as you could expect with this lineup, but it does go back to the Faceless Void build. Like I said earlier, I don't think it's a wrong decision. It just means that the game pace is certainly going to change with the decision. So, Leshrac.
I'm also thinking about what is V2 going for after this Battle Fury. So Battle Fury, it's obviously going to accelerate him. It looks like he is queuing up the Manta style, which is pretty nice. You know, your Manta style illusions, they can deal damage in the Chronosphere as well. But after that, I think he does have to go for a Lincoln Sphere. Either a Lincoln Sphere or a BKB, if not both, this game for the side of V2.
That should help. Radiant's bottom tower is
20 minutes spawn the bounty runes, and both teams going for the control of them. So we'll see a 2 for 2 as top lane again. Sand King, seen this before. He's just chilling in the sandstorm. He eventually is going to Burrow Strike away. Again, close call, but manages to make it out. You see Undershock, though, continues to move. He's got the bots. He's going to build a blink. So this is going to be a very mobile Leshrac this game. The Eels, the bots, the blink. He's fast, Disco Pony. It can be anywhere at any time. Well, kind of. Get the point. Faceless Void, Manta Style, being worked on. Back to him. But Nagasiren, she now has the Diffusal Blade flying out, and it's a slight 1,000 net worth lead for TFT. This is one of those games, though. It's going to come down to that one big fight, it feels like. You know, can they land the huge Chronosphere and get that follow-up damage, or will maybe be a little bit of a whiff and then the response from TFT? It just feels like one of those games that it's certainly anyone. Both teams are playing pretty solid right now.
Yeah, you're totally right. If this goes to the uber late game, you know, both teams will be able to, if they win that one big fight, with the help of their large ultimates, be able to just win the game from that point on. But for the side of TFT, you know, Frost, he is in that position where I think he's willing to come to fights. We haven't seen this Nagasiren get involved at all. 0-0-1 is his score, and you know that in a way that's the perfect beginning of a Nagasiren game, because it's been Frost versus the jungle, and you know, he has a choice. He can get involved with the rest of his team. They do have very good pickoff with this Sand King and the Beastmaster, or he might just be waiting until he gets either his heart or his butterfly, whichever is next. But at that point, Frost, he definitely is going to become a force on the map for the side of Pries to deal with.
Yeah. Ancient Apparition, Guardian Greaves being worked on for him now. He's got a mech finished. So we haven't seen the most impact yet from this half lane Ancient Apparition, but that goes back to just when the team fights start breaking out, that's where we are going to be seeing plenty from. I believe you're even mentioning it earlier. I mean, the Ice Vortex synergy, especially with somebody like a Leshrac, is really good too. Yoku, he gets picked off bottom lane. So Chessie as well as Hanskin find the Nyx Assassin all the way down here, and they're pretty deep on this side, but still managed to make the kill happen and get out before. But yeah, the Ice Vortex also actually really good synergy with Faceless Void when you think about it, because Time Lock is magic. And so if he gets those procs in there, it's that much more damage coming out from the bash hits of the Faceless Void. So yeah, I really do like, again, not a typical core option, but this whole offlane and the way they've built around it does feel very good. I like the uniqueness of Priest's lineup.
Yeah, the one thing I would have perhaps liked to have seen is, you know, they have been able to get a fair amount of kills for the side of Pries, but I would have really liked to see them pursue either Chessie or the Nagasiren. They've had to settle for these, you know, the Sand King, the Beastmaster, and they haven't been able to get both these two kills.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have laughed, but that was, let's be honest, that was a little funny. He got caught by Rubik, and then that followed up by an ensnare, and he thought he had a chance to get away with the Chronosphere, but then all of a sudden a waveform from Morphling flies in to finish him. Absolutely. So great response, or great find there even by TFT bottom lane. He yields from Undershock, keep him alive initially to the epicenter, but then the Primal Roar hits right as he comes down. TFT finds back-to-back fantastic pickoffs. Those are the top two cores in the game, at least on the Radiant side, and now they're going after Beastmaster. The Inkswell might finish the job, but Sand King stuns in. Beastmaster does go down, but Hanskin is still doing work here. It's a triple kill for Zime. He also has his unit still nearby, the Necronomicon and a Boar even. Spike Gear Face for Yoku keeps him alive a little bit longer, but that Bro Strike's going to come out, and this is going to be a wipeout, aka Ultra Kill for Zime. What on earth? How did Beastmaster get 4 kills, including 2 after death?
You know, I was about to say, when that Faceless Void dies, you know it's your timing to achieve an objective for the side of the final tribe, and it looks like most of the team went into Roshan, but this bottom lane, they're able to kill for their track. They have the Roar, they have the Necro 3 creeps, and you know, while they're focusing controlling the Beastmaster, his creeps are just wreaking havoc, and it's what I talked about the AA. He's just so damn squishy that he died to all the summons, and they were able to offer the rest of the control with the help of Hanskin's Sand King, and yeah, five kills across the map for the side of the final tribe, and it now firmly feels like they're in the driver's seat now.
Double damage on Morphling. Nagasiren. She is 3,900 gold saved up, and she's got a heart queued. So, man, we really haven't seen much out of Nagasiren yet, but it kind of goes back to your point you were addressing earlier on Priest, and they haven't been paying attention to her. They haven't really been trying to address her. And I do think, I mentioned the whole Battle Fury build earlier on Faceless Void, and it's, again, I kept saying it wasn't necessarily the wrong decision. It's a different pace of game. I think, though, now in hindsight, it's sitting here saying, okay, maybe would have rather seen much more of that aggressive Faceless Void build. because that would have been a nice tempo. You could maybe address Naga Siren, and this game would be in a much different state right now. But easy to say that in the hindsight aspect. But now you're down 7,000 to a very farm Naga Siren. Morphling is also looking great. He's in fact second in net worth. He currently has the Aegis. He is building that BKB as you talked about, and a Reaver at least purchased for Naga Siren. So this is now a much bigger uphill battle for Pries Gaming.
Yeah, and I think it's as you say. I don't think it's actually just the itemization, because we've talked again and again how they do have damage to put into that Chronosphere, but something they haven't been doing from the side of Pries is using that Chronosphere whenever it's off cooldown. I talk about this idea of using your big ultimates to gain you map control, and we just haven't seen that. He's been happy to farm on his Battle Fury just the entire time without ever looking to use this Chronosphere. And maybe that is part of the build. He has this Battle Fury, he wants to use it.
That's my point, yeah.
But I think there is a point to be made that you can get the Battle Fury and look to use your Chronosphere of cooldown, because then you just farm for the other 130 seconds, and then you use your Chronosphere again. But maybe that's just not how V-Tune sees it.
It's the mentality, if anything, though. You have a Battle Fury, you're not... Just normally, you're not looking, okay, I got a Battle Fury, I'm going to go find kills. I'm not saying that you're wrong to say that, but... Yeah, I think it's the mix of the mentality, and it's just more of that all-in idea. Then if we don't get a kill with the Chronosphere for whatever reason, then especially since we went Battle Free, then it's really bad. So either way, it's a heart now finish on Naga Siren, and this is where the game just really just turns on its head. It's once you see that item, you see a Naga Siren with 3,300 life, all of her illusions are going to be that much more difficult to kill. She's also dealing solid damage consistently. I'm finding trouble finding an answer for Pries Gaming now, especially seeing that being picked up. But we still have yet to see that one really big Chronosphere, so maybe that's what it's going to come down to still. But even now, I look at Faceless Void. It's a Manta style. It's not like... It still feels a little underwhelming to me, even after the Battle Fury.
Yeah, and it seems like he really agrees with you with the lack of damage that he has, because he's going for the Maelstrom instead of the BKB. I said I thought he might go straight to a defensive item, but, sometimes, playing defense isn't going to win you the game. He realizes the side of TFT, they're going to be pushing long before that BKB is online or even effective. So he's just looking for more damage so they'll be able to defend their high ground. But there is a smoke here from the side of Pries. Will we see the big Chronosphere of our dreams?
Well, you can tell that they're realizing this time of the game, they need to make some plays finally. So they're going to smoke, try to find that opportunity. Naga Siren's coming over. But again, do they really have the damage? He's going to okay, the Ice Blast, here we go. They're going to try. Ice Blast certainly helps. Chronosphere is worn off. There's a follow-up stun, and yes, Naga Siren is taken out, so they absolutely have the damage. Morphling has got the Spirit Vessel, and he's out. Aegis lost. Okay, this is exactly what Pries needed. They are going to retreat, knowing the Chronosphere is, of course, down. I would say that was a very good Chrono and exactly what they needed right now.
Yeah, the solo Chrono for the Naga definitely paying off. Hanskin, they have vision over him. Oh, the Atos not quite on time. But it's exactly as you say. This is what we've been talking about the entire game. V2, you thought he wouldn't have the damage, and he didn't have it by himself, but with his entire team there, they more than certainly can kill this Naga. And I really have to question, why didn't they try this before they had an Aegis on the side of the final tribe? Before they had a heart on the Naga Siren, these kills would have been so much easier for you. You wouldn't feel like you're in this position. But getting the Aegis, getting the Naga Siren kill, it definitely does feel like it's put the push on the final tribe back. But Zadoi caught once again by these Necro 3 creeps.
Yeah, it's help, but the creeps are too much. They burn him down. Screen's also going to get taken out. Jesse comes in with the BKB. Diving in with a waveform. Last track hit by the Primer on the backlands. The Chronosphere from Rubik coming out. It hits Beastmaster as well. But he had that still and helps to finish off Last track. He's down for 65 seconds. Grimstork fought back. V2 though, trying to fly away with the time walk. He's got another 1 and 2 more seconds. Gets stunned up. However, he cannot time walk. And he's lifted to death. He'll buy back immediately. But TFT says, all right, your big cooldown, it's on cooldown. We might as well take full advantage, and they're certainly doing exactly that. What a turn for TFT. Just when you saw a great pickup with the Chronosphere, it just doesn't even seem to matter.
Yeah, they took a fight. Even without their Naga Siren, they just wanted, the little pickoffs that erupted into a full team fight. And, you just saw Chessie. He didn't use his BKB in the previous engagement because he had the Aegis, and obviously you want to save the BKB for life after the Aegis, but then you saw they just had no control and no way of being able to deal with this Morphling when he's BKB, and he's pretty damn tanky with this Eye of Skadi sitting at 2,000 health. And I'm honestly a bit surprised that they stopped pushing. It looks like they didn't have a perfect timer for this Chronosphere here. They just gave it a bit too much respect, because I think if they had continued to push, they could have certainly got this tier 3 tower. But now it's online, the side of Pries, they'll look to defend high ground again, maybe go for another smoke. Do they have one in stock? Let's find out.
We'll see if they do. As a spectator, I don't think you can.
Yeah, I can't figure out how to check it.
I was going to say, if you find out, let me know, because I've been trying to figure that out for a long time.
They actually do have one over here on the Grimstroke, so they most certainly have some sort of smoke that I think they should try to use. And they are, but they haven't got Undershock in it, and he's a lot of their damage.
Still going for the find now. TFT, everyone's in the area though, so even if they go for Chessie, they have the backup. Here we go. He got his next assassin in it too. Will it matter? We saw before. They convert it down. Zebe coming to the front of the roar. Bensley goes up, but no. Morphling goes down. That was Morphling, excuse me. Wow, I thought it was Naga Siren. Anyways, Naga Siren's running over. However, Faceless Void is going to be killed off for a dieback. 100 seconds out of this fight now. And Naga Siren's like, hey, what's going on, guys? I got an Arcane Rune. Let's fight.
Yeah, I mean, Frost, not with his team, but, you know, he didn't need to be. He was busy dealing with the waves. This Naga Siren is an absolute rage boss. There's even a gem that was on the Faceless Void sitting on the ground.
That's why. He has his morph ally. That's why I thought it was a Naga Siren. He's literally morphed into Naga Siren.
Oh, no. It was Naga Siren.
Yeah.
I agreed with you when I thought it was the Naga Siren. I didn't realize it was the Morphling being focused. But, you know, it's when you have two Naga Sirens, you know, to push lanes, you don't need the ultimate at all. So, you know, two Naga Sirens, you have Mirror Image, you have Riptide. And it just means there's no map control that the side of Pries are going to be able to take. They're forced to remain inside their base.
That's actually pretty insane, yeah. The double Mirror Images is crazy. Undershock going to get taken out a little bit too far up. They're holding their base somewhat for now, but this is finally going to be the melee Rex kill. And focusing the range tracks after the fact, they're going to make a way to another set of racks. I'm sure there's no reason they should stop, especially with both Leshrac and Faceless Void dead. Faceless Void, even when he's up, would not have a Chronosphere for a little bit. He'll have it shortly after, but Leshrac does have a buyback, and he is going to actually use it. So the Radiant team wants to try to hold right here, prevent a Game 3 from happening, but I don't think that's going to work. Both supporting gas get picked up, and backlines a buyback immediately from Ancient Apparition. Yields on himself, but GG's already been called. And we are going Game 3. TFT manages to pull through in Game 2. Again, the draft maybe made a little more sense mixed with their play, and really Frost getting free farm was the absolute game changer here in Game 2.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught at the end of the fight there, but Rubik was able to steal the Soulbind, so they were able to even celebrate with a double roar for victory there at the end for the side of the final tribe. But this game, it went exactly as you said. This Naga Siren was absolutely never addressed. They kill off Chessie once early on, but you have this incredibly late scaling dual core. They go for the Battle Fury on Vtoon. They don't use the Chronosphere when it's off cooldown because Vtoon is very focused on farming. I mean, you know, this is how he plays his anti-mage. This is how he plays his heroes. You know, he loves to farm over here in Vtoon. He's a 4 protect 1 type of carry. And they just weren't able to shut down these cores of the final tribe at all. And once Naga Siren has that heart, once she starts coming to fights, and Chessie already has his BKB, there's no way you're able to win fights because we see they are able to kill off Frost or Chessie. You can kill off Frost or Chessie when you get those solo Chronospheres, but you can't kill Frost and Chessie. And so it means Final Tribe are still going to win the fight and win the game.
Yeah, I mean, for me, again, I'm not saying that they were wrong in the Battle Fury choice on Faceless Void, but I would have been interested to see if he instead went the Mask of Madness, the Yasha, just a much more aggressive earlier build, how different perhaps this game could have been. But TFT, they did what they needed to do, specifically frost-free farming, and good space made for him. So congrats to their victory, and we do get that Game 3, so always exciting stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. The Chi League Invitational European region continues next on Breaking CPK, joined by Hotspots. Game 3 coming up.